Hey everybody, this is Yams from Flipping Central. Today I'm showcasing a computer that I built for under $120 that's actually a beast at running esports games as well as other basic computer tasks. When I first got into computers, I had an extremely small budget too, and I looked at build guides for extremely cheap builds on YouTube and everything, but they always had some sort of workaround or one-in-a-lifetime deal that I couldn't replicate myself, and it wasn't attainable by me, who was an average consumer. And this video isn't like that. Although your prices may vary slightly from mine, this computer build is fully possible and will actually be quite easy to build as long as you're patient and wait to find the right parts. Before I get into the parts list and benchmarks though, I'd like to have a talk about our Flipping Central Discord community. We have a small Discord server that is full of PC flippers, tech enthusiasts, and other chill people who are all interested in computers. We post our builds here, sign you up to get notified for great deals, and provide a chill environment for anyone to come and ask questions or just to discuss tech. We have an Instagram, TikTok, and website that you can check out with the link in the description of this video. Without further ado, let's get into the bread and butter of this super budget banger. My choice of motherboard for this build was an Intel brand DB85FL. It's a micro ATX motherboard that's pretty bare bones, but it has all the features that one could need in a motherboard. I got this board for $15 shipped from Facebook Marketplace. It has 4 RAM slots, USB 3.0 ports, and some decent looking black and blue aesthetics. To go along with this motherboard, I picked up this Intel Core i3-4150 CPU. This is quite an interesting choice that I had a lot of fun playing around with. i3s are not something that you usually see in a budget build because you usually want 4 cores. But the CPU is a Haswell refresh hyper-threaded dual core with a base speed of 3.5 GHz. The CPU is only rated for a TDP of 54 watts, which means that I was able to get away with an Intel stock cooler that I got bundled with the CPU for only $2 extra. I got both these items from Reddit's Hardware Swap, and for those of you who don't know, Hardware Swap is a subreddit on Reddit, and it's where a lot of good deals come from. So if you wanted to pick up some deals or just surf it, it's a good thing to look at if you're looking to build. For RAM, I simply picked up this single 8GB stick of DDR3 for $10, which was also from Hardware Swap. 8GB of RAM is probably the bare minimum that you want for gaming nowadays, but with such a budget build, it's really the max that we could pick up, and a single stick does allow you to upgrade to more in the future, as well as this motherboard having 4 RAM slots. So if needed, an upgrade to 12GB or 16GB could be had in the future. My power supply of choice was a Cooler Master Elite V3 500 watt. I actually got this in a bundle with a case, and the power supply itself costed $10. It's not a great unit by any means, but it is sufficient to power this system just fine. I understand that you may not be able to buy the combo that I did and take the power supply. So, some alternatives for this can be a power supply from EVGA B-Stock, which you can sometimes get a W1 or W3 series, ranging from 450 to 600 watts for $15. Or some low-end power supplies, like this Thermaltake Smart, go on sale for about $15 to $20 on Woot. And Woot is an Amazon company that sells backstock products, like Overstock, I believe. For my storage solution, I had to go cheap and simple. This was my hardest decision in the build. I didn't know whether to do a small SSD and just get the speed that's needed but lack in the storage department, or if I were to get a sluggish hard drive that provided all the storage I needed, except it was, slow and just didn't provide a great experience for everyday usability. So I decided to go with this Hitachi 500GB 2.5-inch hard drive, simply because I had it spare and I only got it off of Hardware Swap for $5. This thing's not fast. I'm gonna give it to you straight, it's not fast at all. It's nothing to write home about at all, but it does work just fine and stores all the games that you would need. If you have an extra $15 to $20 in your budget, I would 100% definitely recommend your first upgrade to be an SSD. You can pick up a 60, 80, or even 120GB SSD, either used or new from eBay, Hardware Swap, Amazon, Newegg, something like that. It'll speed up your computer by extreme amounts, and even before I sell this, I might slap in an SSD because It just makes the usability of the computer as a whole so much better and so much more enjoyable. Finally, for the case, I had to go as low end as possible. I found the cheapest case on Newegg, and it's this HSCCGI Micro ATX tower. It was just over $29, which is $29.50 to be exact, with tax included. And I will say that this case was a nightmare. You can probably see by my cable management. It would be totally fine and a perfectly acceptable case if I had a skinnier motherboard, but unfortunately I had a full-sized Micro ATX motherboard, so the main cable management holes were completely covered. This caused a very big headache and some extremely bad cable management. I literally could not do anything to fix this cable management issue. It's not a big deal though, as the side panel isn't transparent, but I did add a spare up here RGB fan that I had to the side. This won't be added to the total cost since it's just aesthetics, but you know, I had it spare, so why not? Alright, now that all the parts are out of the way, let's take a look at how this plays games. I actually only tested Valorant for the games, which is kind of an L by me because I should have tested more games, but it's okay. Valorant performed extraordinarily well. I'm actually super surprised by this. At 1080p low settings with anisotropic filtering and anti-aliasing both set at 1, we were getting 80 to 150 frames per second depending on how intense the area was. During my Spike Rush game, I was seeing about 80 frames per second in the more open areas with more enemies and about 100 in the more closed off areas. It was an enjoyable experience and I was actually really satisfied with it. Even though I only benchmarked one game, I did do a Cinebench R23 run to get the CPU's multi-core score. It ended with getting a score of 2020, which is as low as everyone's morale in the coinciding year, but not all that bad. What can we really expect from a 4th gen dual core? In conclusion, overall, I'm extremely pleased with this machine. This really shows that anyone can get into PC gaming at an extreme budget and make it work really well. Not only does this computer create a very cost-effective solution, you also help reduce e-waste when you purchase older parts. And, you know, this is as opposed to just throwing them out. I'm going to be selling this computer for cheap either locally or on Jawa, and it'll make a great Christmas present for a smaller kid who is looking to play simple games like Roblox, Minecraft, and similar. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome PC builds at varying price points, and join our Discord server for more information. Once again, I'm Yams, and I'll see you in a later video.